Hello, everyone. Welcome into Simply Life. I'm Keith Casebolt, and with a hot cup of coffee, my dear friend sits across from me, Gary C. Johnson.
Wonderful to be here. And today, starting off, we're going to talk about a football statistic that I find absolutely amazing.
Wow. You and I were just having a conversation of what's going to go on this weekend at Kroger Field in Lexington, the football state championships, 6 classes, 12 teams, and Gary, 5 of those 12 teams are from Eastern Kentucky.
Now think about that. How's that possible?
It's a first, I think.
It's got to be. It's amazing. I'm so proud of our boys and girls in Eastern Kentucky.
Man, Pikeville will be going, and they'll be playing Paintsville in the Class A state championship. Now, that's kind of unusual because you're guaranteed a winner for Eastern Kentucky. It's either going to be Paintsville or Pikeville. And these,
in the state championship.
In the state championship. And these two teams played earlier this year, and Pikeville won by 1 point. So, man, you're talking about a ball game. And then
So what are our other 5 teams? They need some little recognition here.
Somerset, the Briar Jumpers, are going to be going in Class 2A. And then probably the most legendary coach of all time, Philip Haywood, over at Belfry. With the Belfry Pirates, they're going to be, I said 5 teams, there are 6. Belfry's going to be playing Bell County and Dudley Hilton. I apologize. We got 6 out of the 12.
Half of them.
Half of them. So Belfry and Bell County will be playing, another guaranteed win for Southeastern Kentucky, either way. And then Johnson Central will be going also. So kudos to Johnson County. They have Johnson Central and Paintsville both going to the state championship.
Amazing statistics like we were going to talk about.
And I'm going to tell you something.
Who else we got?
I'm going to guess, that's our 6 teams, I'm going to guess there's going to be about 14 to 15,000 fans coming from Eastern Kentucky traveling into Lexington.
Okay, our 6 teams, we got Pikeville,
Paintsville,
Belfry, that's 2 from Pike County. Johnson Central.
And Paintsville.
Paintsville, that's 2 from Johnson County.
4. Then we've got Somerset,
and
Bell County. 6 teams.
Well, I'm so proud of our young folks to be able to do that. Look, you got all those schools in Louisville and Lexington and Western Kentucky and all over the state. Northern Kentucky, and we get half of them out of Eastern Kentucky. Woo-wee!
Going to be a lot of fans going down there, that's for sure.
Well, it's a wonderful, wonderful time for our young folks in Eastern Kentucky. I'm proud of you. It's a shout-out to you. You're making us all proud.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, all of a sudden, Eastern and Southeastern Kentucky has become the, football mecca of the state of Kentucky. So it's going to be interesting to see.
It's not just the football, it's the character that's been built.
Goes back to that hard work.
That hard work.
Yeah.
That's it. Remember, you don't find anybody works harder than people in Eastern Kentucky.
You are absolutely right. Yeah, we'd love to say it's just based upon talent, but the truth of the matter is it's just hard work. You just outwork everybody.
Ran into a little thing. It says that, I'm always looking around trying to read to pick up something. And there's 6 little stories with lots of meaning. And they're real small stories. So I'm going to read you one.
Okay.
Once all the villagers decided to pray for rain. On the day of prayer, all the people gathered, but only one boy came with an umbrella. That's called faith.
Now, there is a major, major lesson in that little story.
It is.
Isn't there?
Yeah.
How many times have we all prayed for something, but here is the one kid that shows up with the umbrella.
Because he had faith.
And expectation. Faith and expectation that it was going to happen.
Here's the next one of the 6 little stories. When you throw babies in the air, they laugh because they know you will catch them. That is trust.
Gary, that is really good. that is something that none of us of adults would have.
Oh, no, you don't throw me in there.
Yeah, I mean, none of us are laughing.
Actually, I don't think anybody could throw us in there, Keith.
No.
I'm not going to say why.
I know why, and I know why I wouldn't trust them to try to catch me either. But
break their back trying to catch
that is a great illustration. You would think that a young baby would be afraid of being tossed in the air out of someone's hands, but the trust is there that they're going to be caught.
Mm-hmm.
Good story.
Number 3, every night we go to bed without any assurance of being alive the next morning, but still we set the alarms to wake us up. That's hope.
How many times on this program have you talked and said, what we got is today? Today is what we have. There is no promise of tomorrow. We got today.
No, we have a promise of tomorrow, but that may be all we have.
Yeah, but today, if we're going to make good on it, we got to do it today. But that is a great analogy that we set the alarm because
we have hope that we will wake up in the morning.
That there will be a tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that all the things on our schedule we will get to do.
I think these first 3 are really neat. I'm going to read you number 4 on this list I found. We plan big things for tomorrow in spite of zero knowledge of the future. That's confidence.
That is confidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the glass half full instead of the glass half empty.
That's right. Number 5, we see the world suffering, but still we get married and have children. That's love.
Changing the world. Yeah.
And number 6, an old man's shirt was written a sentence. I'm not 80 years old. I am sweet 16 with 64 years of experience. That is attitude.
That could be the best one of all.
Yeah.
That could be the best one of all.
And then they end it with, good friends are the rare jewels of life. Difficult to find, impossible to replace.
Amen to that.
Isn't that the truth?
You know, isn't it amazing that you can tell a little story like number 1 about praying for rain, but the one kid shows up with the umbrella, which is the faith. And that little story can tell you so much about your own life or what's going on. Are we the kid with the umbrella, or are we just showing up and praying without the umbrella?
That's right. Who are we? That's the question.
Back to the 3 questions that our friends know about with the book that I'm still trying to understand.
I gave you a hard book on that one.
Yeah, that one, but you know, it's okay. Thinking, and still, with that book, and I've told a couple of people...
We better tell them what the book is.
It's The 3 Questions by Don Miguel Ruiz.
R-U-I-Z.
Yeah. And it's the 3 questions, and the first question is basically, who is me? And that question was a really good question. But, you know, I've told people the greatest thing, you always get something, or at least you tell me, Keith, try to get one thing out of a chapter, or try to get one thing out of the book. If you get one thing, you got something. And I came back to you and said, I got this, I got this, I got this. Am I right or wrong? And you said, both. But the great thing is, at least you're the one doing the thinking. That was probably the most empowering thing that I've heard in a long time. Not that someone else was telling you which way to go, that you were saying it's for you to think and for you to figure out.
That's what that book's about. They throw out a bunch of stuff as though this is the way it is. But in reality, when you cut it down, the book is trying to get you to think about who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And to think about all the things that you believe to be absolutely true. And to think about how you came to form those beliefs. Did you form them from independent knowledge? Or did you form those beliefs based on what you were told by other people?
Mm-hmm.
And are those beliefs accurate? When you analyze them, in outside of what other people are influencing you to think. Now, more likely than not, they probably will be. But the book is trying to get you to think.
You made a statement on the television show the other night, Gary, that I really thought was profound. You said if you took a daycare with a bunch of 3-year-olds, here's all the things you wouldn't find: racism, any biases, religious persecution, political views. You went through a kind of a list of saying...
Nothing would be polarized.
No, you said these 3-year-olds would play with the toys together. They would laugh and play. They would interact. They would enjoy each other. They would hug. They would have the best time because their canvas had not been tainted.
And they would never look to see what color someone's skin was. They would not notice.
It would have no meaning.
Mm-hmm. It would have no relevance to them. But yet, as they grow, those 3 years old, and become people like us,
Mm-hmm.
they are given information to form beliefs, biases, and prejudices, and things of that nature from others.
So if you came back to them 20 years later and you brought those same kids together, you would find out that they have opinions that are all different. Maybe they have biases. Maybe they even have racism in their life. But all of those things were brought to them or put upon them or taught to them. They were not there in the beginning.
Absolutely. And that's what the book's saying to you. Who are you? Who are you? Are you what you were formed to be by other people making you what you are, or are you who you are? Who are you?
So is this a nature-nurture?
And just remember, you can rewrite who you are.
That was a powerful thing. So this is nature or nurture.
Right.
And the book is basically saying you can go back to the beginning of when you were born at 3, and you can start over if you wish, and you can paint your own picture.
Book says you can do it. I'm not sure you can.
Well, I understand that. Old sayings are for a reason, right?
Well, as Anita once told me, you can't get away from who you are and how you were brought up.
Why is that?
I don't know. If I did, maybe I'd...
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm 55 years old, and I'll always be that little kid from Ford's Branch, the little hollow that I was born and raised on. That will always be where I'm from and I guess who I am. I understand exactly what you're saying. Now, why that imprint or that impact is so powerful, I don't know.
I guess it's almost like when you have traditions and cultures,
Mm-hmm.
that it's part of our DNA that we will fall into the culture we're born into. I guess for survival, if nothing else. Because we are our tribe.
Which is why when you're young, your relatives will say, "Oh, I see your grandfather in you," or "I see your great-grandfather," or "You just smiled," and "I see your aunt or your uncle." You have those physical traits like you do the inner traits, I guess.
You know, I wish I was smarter.
I was just sitting here thinking, there's probably somebody listening to this program right now that says,
"It's
"Hey,
a whole lot smarter than me and you."
Yeah, hey, guys,
especially me, that can tell you,
I
that
can help
could
you
be
with
much
this."
better able to analyze what we're trying to talk about.
Hey, we're just thinking. We're just thinking.
I'm just
out
trying
loud.
to think a little bit, and it wear your brain out trying to think, folks. I'm just kidding. But remember, part of this program is I want my friends to think. I want you to think about everything. I want you to question everything. and then form your conclusions based upon your own questioning and your own thinking.
But Gary, what I liked about the book is the book did not say, I want you to think about everybody else. I want you to think about who they are, why they're that way, what they're doing. The book said,
think about you.
I want you to start with you and think about you.
How many times have we said on the program that until you learn to be happy yourself, you can never, ever have any influence on anyone else?
Isn't that the truth?
You have to start, and my analogy I use is when you're on an airplane and they're talking about the safety things on the airplane, they say when the mask falls down, if we lose pressurization, put the mask on yourself first before you try to help anyone else.
And the reason that is because you will pass out without oxygen and you will not be able to help anyone else, for those of you that don't
or
fly.
Or yourself either.
Yeah, or yourself either. So unless you're physically able to stay aware, you can't do anything. The same thing you're saying about the happiness. Unless you're happy with yourself, there's no way.
And unless you're satisfied with yourself, and unless you learn to love yourself, and learn to appreciate yourself, you can't hope to get out in the world and appreciate someone else.
Is there a big difference between those two words you just used, happy with yourself and satisfied with yourself? I mean, being satisfied with who you are, where you are, how the good Lord made you, everything that's there, of saying, I'm okay with being me.
Once you do that, once you get there, folks, my friends, then you will move in the direction you need to move to make yourself truly happy. You may change your circumstances. You may change your job. You will make the changes necessary to take care of you, because you are no benefit to someone else unless you have taken care of yourself first. I guess what I'm saying to you, the most important person in the world to you, my friends, should be you.
Back to that loving your body, which
right. It's
the
all you
love
got.
Of your life.
You have you. You can't get away from being you. You can get away from about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But you are who you are. You need to understand you're unique. Again, I say this about every show. You need to understand that you're special because you were born, and nobody else looks like you and never will. And once you understand your worth, yourself, then you have some chance of being happy. My friends, you don't realize how unique it is in an entire universe of billions and billions and billions of stars. There will never in eternity be anything that looks like you, thinks like you, or acts like you.
Again.
Or
ever. Before.
Before or after. Now, you take it for granted. As though, well, yeah, so what? Once you understand that, then you can start having the sense of self-worth that you need to deal with others. Now, others will put you down. Others may very well make you feel unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Others may make you feel stupid, which sometimes I feel pretty stupid myself, by the way.
But when you sit here with me, you get elevated. Trust me.
You have a shot at it, I guess is what I'm saying. But until you get that frame of mind, that attitude about yourself, you're not going to make the quantum leaps you need to make toward living life the way it was meant to be lived.
Gary, back to the point you made about others. Others may put you down. Others may make you feel small. They may say bad things about you. Is it safe to say that those others have no respect or love for themselves, or they would not be doing that to anyone else?
They wouldn't need to climb on you if they had the right attitude about who they were already. They wouldn't need to put you down. They wouldn't need to lord over you.
So they have not obtained this happiness.
It's their sense of insecurity, and they're not having a sense of self-worth. It's why they try to do that to you. Feel sorry for them. Don't hate them. Feel sorry for them.
It's obviously they're not happy.
But that doesn't mean you can't be happy, my friends.
Wow. What a force field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just put up this major force field around each individual that will take it that says, you can't put me down. You can't make me feel bad. In fact, I feel sorry for you for trying because that tells me that you're not happy and you don't like yourself.
Otherwise, you would not need to be put in a position of trying to make me less than what I am.
Boy, there's your judo law into judo life, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So how can you be angry with someone who is suffering and unhappy with themselves? You will actually feel sorry for them, and there's no way they can make you miserable.
They can't without your permission, unless they're your children. I always put that exception in there, because your children can make you miserable.
One exception. But, Gary, that's a powerful way of thinking. Now, again, back to thinking. But we just go along and someone says something bad about us, and what's the first thing we do? We jump onto ourselves. It must be true, or they wouldn't have said it. Maybe I'm not as smart as they said or thought I was. Maybe they're right. Why do we give any credit to this when you're sitting there saying there is no credit to it? This individual is suffering. They're not happy, or they would have never said those horrible things about you.
They would have never needed to climb on you had they had any sense of self-worth themselves.
Yet self-worth, confidence, happiness with who they are.
Right. Therefore, if someone's trying to put you down or make you feel bad, feel sorry for them, because they're feeding a desire that they have and that craving for a fulfillment that they've not been able to find within themselves.
It's safe to say they are truly not satisfied with who they are.
Nope. But my friends, you are going to be, right? All of you that's listening to this program, you're going to become totally satisfied with yourself. You're going to be totally satisfied with how you look. And be thankful all of you don't look like George Clooney. Oh, you guys.
Yeah, there you go.
And just be thankful to be alive. And you will have a wonderful life, my friends, if you do that. But first, start with number one. You've got to make peace with number one. That's you.
And that's going to take some work, and it's going to take some courage to look inward.
We got time for me to read these once more.
You do, and I think, you know what, it's appropriate with our 6 teams going down to the state. I really think that first one is appropriate for all of our football teams.
I'm going to read you these 6 little stories right quick again, folks, in case some of you tuned in and missed it. Once all villagers decided to pray for rain. On the day of prayer, all the people gathered, but only one boy came with an umbrella. That is faith.
True faith.
2, when you throw babies in the air, they laugh because they know you will catch them. That is trust. 3, every night we go to bed without any assurance of being alive the next morning, but still we set the alarms to wake up. That is hope. 4, we plan big things for tomorrow in spite of zero knowledge of the future. That is confidence. 5, we see the world suffering, but still we get married, we have children. That is love. 6, an old man's shirt was written a sentence. I'm not 80 years old. I'm sweet 16 with 64 years of experience. That is attitude. Good friends are rare jewels of love, difficult to find, impossible to replace.
That is fantastic. And that's what we wish for these young kids that are going down for the tournament, to have faith, trust, hope, love, confidence, and the attitude that they're going to enjoy this with their friends.
That's right.
Which is the greatest thing that you can have. Great lesson today, by the way. I mean, those are really, really good.
Cute.
Well, I can understand them. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't complicated like the book with the 3 questions. You can catch Gary's television show on Tuesday nights on WYMT, your CBS affiliate, 7 o'clock. A late-night replays on Central Kentucky at WKYT. Also, if you need to get in touch with Gary, that's Gary at GaryCJohnson.com. If you've got the cell phone handy, you can just dial #HURT, and that will ring through. Also, traveling, remember the roads. We've got some weather conditions. My goodness, Gary, the weather changes so quickly in our region, and we know that we're going to have thousands and thousands of fans going into Lexington. A lot of traffic on those roads.
That's why we have an office in Lexington. We've got so many friends that go down there, and somebody tries to run over them.
You and I were just talking with all of the high school games, the UK playing, the Christmas shopping, 30 to 40, maybe 50,000 people from eastern and southeastern Kentucky will be traveling in to central Kentucky, and that's a lot of traffic on the roads. So be safe and buckle up. My friend, thank you so much for the program today.
Glad to be here, my friend.
On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, Gary and I look forward to seeing you again next week, right here at this very same time.